Hi everyone, it's Tracy Matthews from Flourish and Thrive Academy, and I'm so excited to be here today with Lisa Jacobs. Lisa, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Before we get started, I wanted to introduce Lisa. So Lisa and her partner Tim Adam were both contributors to one of our courses here at Flourish and Thrive Academy, and they did a training on handmade, which was amazing. And I really wanted to have Lisa here, but before I start asking her some great questions about planning and goal setting, I wanted to introduce her first. So Lisa Jacobs is all things creative, in my opinion. She is the owner of the Energy Shop on Etsy, and she writes the blog Market Your Creativity. She also co-hosts the Build a Better Business Creative course with Tim Adam of Handmadeology, which I mentioned before. And she has some really exciting new things on the horizon as the community manager of Create Hype, or this is soon to be, right?
Yeah, it started. It will be announced very shortly. Yeah.
Oops. Well, hopefully it's already announced by the time.
I mean, it's probably by the time this video. Yeah, it will definitely be out. But I'm already working behind the scenes, and the previous editor, Megan Ekman,
yeah.
A lot of people know her. She's just stepping down. She's moving on to other things, and I'm just going to take over her position.
Awesome. So, as far as we all are concerned, you're like essentially totally immersed in the creative industry, aren't you?
I am. I live it, breathe it, eat it. I am. I talk shop all day long.
You do. I know. You're so great. And I love hearing you talk. So I wanted to ask you a few questions today because as a creative business owner myself and trying to juggle all the hats that you have to wear, right, as a creative business owner, I wanted to get some feedback from you on how goals and sort of planning have helped you become more profitable in your business.
And, I think about when you're talking about that, I think about where I was about 3.5 years ago and how when I started, I was waiting for things to happen and I kept waiting to arrive. I kept wanting to feel like I'm here and I'm being recognized and my work is being validated. And I think for about the first 3 years, I was sort of on that watch and see what happens train. And I just kept doing the same thing over and over again, which was basically producing my bracelets and writing about the marketing strategy behind it. And I kept saying, okay, I know about business. I know it takes a while to arrive, but when is the income going to be there and be reliable? And when am I going to feel connected? And when am I going to feel like, again, like I've arrived?
Right.
And last year I wrote my first e-program because, I create physical products. But when I wrote my first e-product, it was basically something to help creative business owners set a solid foundation for their shop. And so when that came out, I did what people are prone to do. I put it out and I watched stats. And I watched them for weeks. And even though the book did pretty well and it was a success in my eyes, I still went into this post-production depression. I was hungover. And all I could do was wake up and watch stats. And I was like, okay, I did this. It was such hard work. I pushed through it. I produced. I put it out there. Well, now what? And I really had to start to question at that point. I went into a ditch afterwards. I wasn't creating anything. I stopped making income because if, in this business, if you're not making something, you're not making income either. So I felt going into 2013, I had to rework it. Things had to change.
Yeah.
And I needed results. So that's where I was. And then that's where I sort of shifted my own priorities in business to making things happen.
I love hearing that. I mean, Robin and I are all about taking action and getting results. So important.
And then the business now is giving back to me because I put in.
Yeah.
And if I'm really honest with myself, if I look back to what I did 3 years ago, I probably spent 2 hours creating, 4 hours watching stats. and 2 hours creating,
Yeah.
4 hours clicking the internet to see if anybody saw that. And
Right.
so now it's very different. It's a solid every day. I have to put in 5 hours. I have to create. I have to produce. I don't have time to watch stats, and everything's changed. And I feel the shift.
Right. I feel like sometimes you can get totally obsessive over the statistics, and it ends up paralyzing you if you're not, like you said, focusing on moving your business forward, which for you would be making, or, for a lot of people, it's getting more sales or engaging new clients or whatever it is for the specific type of business, right? Okay. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think goals are so important for an independent lifestyle or creative business?
Because it's just the goals are the opposite of watching things,
Yes.
waiting for something to happen. And they really are. And not only goals, but deadlines to those goals. I mean, I cannot stress the importance, because a lot of your goals, and especially in creative business, or when you're an artist or a designer, a lot of your goals are based on things you've never done before,
Right.
and things you've never seen anybody else do. So you're paving the way, and that is paralyzing. And it's overwhelming, and it's
Yes.
really hard to say, how am I going to, it's really hard to get yourself to take momentum towards something you've never done before.
Right.
And there's a lot of stalls along the way. So deadlines have been critical. And so not just the goals, because I have some goals that I've had for 10 years and they're just not done yet. But the goals combined with the deadline, and then knowing what's next in line. I found that's all, like I said, when I finished that e-program last time, I didn't know what to do next. I thought, I'm going to put this e-program out. And I guess somewhere in my mind, like, I thought, and I'll sell 2,000 copies.
Yeah.
And then I'll be, and then a book publisher is probably going to contact me, and I'll just sell it again. I don't know what I was thinking, but it never works like that. I think a successful small business is a series of small wins that add up to a full income in a creative career.
That's so true. And earlier you were talking about actually, instead of being frozen by the statistics, actually taking action and moving forward in your business. And as you know, Robin and I are so obsessed with taking action, because we really think that you can sit around and think about things all day, but if you're not doing something about it, like trying to find that new client, or getting your orders shipped out and ready to go, or redesigning new things so you can post them up and sort of evolve your collection to get repeat business, you're never going to grow your business, right?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. Absolutely. It's really, and it's like always a brainstorming session. Well, what can I do next? What can I build next? Who can I collaborate with?
Right.
Because all of that is extremely important.
So true. So I wanted to ask you, where do you start with goal setting? You seem to have done such a great job over the last several years kind of evolving your businesses. And what are the first questions you want to ask when looking at like a year in advance, if you're going to plan out your year?
Well, I am, this has become a second income for me, or a second income for my family.
Right.
It's my only income.
And that's the Energy Shop, right?
It's the whole thing.
Now all your creative endeavors. Okay, got it.
Right. Yeah. So I keep them organized, and actually, it's a lot of, whenever we're doing the course, whenever I'm with Tim and we're doing the course together, I always want to explain that we have multifaceted creative businesses.
Right.
Nobody just has an Etsy shop and just thrives on that income. No, that's true. It happens. But if you want it earlier, and if you want to trust it and feel comfortable about it and not feel like desperate for sales and wanting the income to come in, you create multiple streams of income. And so I always point that out, because when we're teaching the course, I don't want you to think that it's just from one online shop that I make a living. It's actually, now I have a blog, I have a job with another blog, I have, the Etsy shop, and I feel, my hours are fulfilling because I get paid for them, and that's fabulous. Right. But outside of that, when I'm looking at the year in advance, I'm basically saying I can make my own salary, and what do I want my salary to be? and I put a number down that would really make me feel like I was
Yeah.
having a lot of fun that year, you know? And I do. I
You're like,
love
I'm being rewarded for this work.
I know. And I love it because I love it because, you know, I'm fortunate that it's the second income. So I can say, well, I'll make that money so we can go on vacation, or I'll
Right.
make that money so we can get this car because there's a car I really want next year. So I put down on paper basically what I would want, what it will cost, and what salary I want to bring in. And then I go the second stage of that, which is this is a really important stage and an eye-opening exercise. The second stage is to say, um, well, what actions can I take that will bring in that money?
Right.
So I can sell 1,000 bracelets, and that would be, you know, a certain amount of money. I can create an ebook and I can sell 200 copies, and that would be a certain amount of money. And what's always interesting with that exercise is that when you start to list the things that you do and the amount of income they will generate, it doesn't quite meet up. It's usually the things that you think are making you a lot of money is down here, and the money you want to make is up here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love it because at the end of the day, I have to look at those numbers, and it's a cold realization to say, well, this is only going to make me a quarter of what I want to make. So how am I going to combine? I need a $10,000 idea. I need a $20,000 idea. How am I going to get my income up here and in a way that I can count on it? And then you realize how much each hour counts in the day, how there's no time for stat watching, how you have to take things seriously. And just like my husband does, he goes to work and he has to work those 8 hours, solid hours. He can't play on Facebook while he's at work. I have to do the same thing. And I have deadlines and I have to meet them. And that's part of wearing the hat of the CEO of my business.
Yes.
Because I'm the one that's going to do the review at the end and say, well, we didn't meet our income. You know, why wasn't this work done? You know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what would be, what would be some of the next steps for someone to go from there? And I know you have a planning tool, so I'd love to hear a little bit about the planning tool and how it all evolved.
Yeah, and the planning tool was the result of this last year. It happened whenever I created that product at the end of 2012, and I sat there paralyzed. And in it, you know, I was working with a life coach at the time, and what was interesting was she said, "You're going from 1,000 miles an hour to 0." And it was an awakening for me because I realized, yeah, exactly. I'm climbing to the top of cliffs, like sheer cliffs. I'm working so hard and I'm running all the way up there. And at the other side of the cliff is just a straight drop down. And I'm letting myself peak and fall and peak and fall. And I need to find this so that I can be comfortable and balanced in my day. And I need to do the things that work. So there's something that I teach, you know, because I'm a coach for the business in the business class. And I always say what we need to do is look at your business and identify what's working. And then you're going to do a whole lot more of that because it's paying you. And later you can play, you can create art, you can do all your hobbies. But these are business hours. We need to treat this like a business. It's work. And so the planner that I created recently was how I restructured my working hours and my working day, and how I there's a workbook aspect to it for how I identified what was working in my business, how I, like I said, realized I need a $10,000 idea to make the income that I need, and then structured that so it's structured from all these things that I want into what I have to do to get what I want, into how am I going to organize that into quarterly, monthly, and daily goals.
Oh, that's amazing. So you can break it down, like take the big goal and then like just break it down into little smaller things, but actually have just a solid, it's almost like, I mean, in a sense, it's like creating a business plan because you want something and you're sort of mapping out the steps that it's going to take to get there, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
But it sounds like this is a lot more exciting and not so tedious as what you think of as a traditional business plan, right? It's more of a working business plan in action.
right now.
Yes.
It's really, I mean, I've kind of had a smile on my face. Like the time and energy that it took for me to create my own, because I've used other planners and I've scribbled all over
Hmm.
what, what isn't useful for my life and my creative business. Like an hourly schedule, that's just not useful for my creative business.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and kind of go with the day, but I know what has to get done in that
Right.
day, in my time frame. So I've been scratching all that out. And when I created my own, it was really the time and energy it took to create it was enough for me. That it was worth my time to do it because it's just been such a strategy that that has worked for me throughout the year. This has been the most productive, income producing, network producing year I've ever had
That's
in
great.
creative business. And so I finally have that sense that I've arrived and I kind of
Yay.
gave it to, yeah, I'm here.
Woo!
And I kind of gave it to myself. I did it. I mean, I've
Right.
been waiting for my big break, but I created it. And really, it was just by showing up all year long, keep putting in work, keep putting myself out there, and that's what worked.
Absolutely. And we met within this last year too. So, lots of big,
Yeah.
big connections happening for all of
Yes.
us. So what's the name of your planner again? Will you tell us?
It is Your Best Year 2014 Productivity Workbook and Creative Business Planner.
I love it. So Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. Below the video, we're going to have a link so you can check out Lisa's planner and hopefully purchase it. I know I'm going to be purchasing it right after this call. Lisa, where can we find you?
I'm at my favorite place to be. It's Marketing Creativity, and it's
Awesome.
marketyourcreativity.com.
I love it. Well, thanks again for being here. You can check out Lisa's jewelry at the Energy Shop Jewelry on Etsy, marketingcreativity.com, and soon to be the community leader at Create Hype. If you have any questions for Lisa, feel free to ask them below in the comments of this video. And we'd love your insights. How are you planning for your 2014 year?
Yes.
Yes, woohoo! Thanks so much, everyone, for watching this today, and we're really excited to see you. And if you're watching this somewhere besides Flourish and Thrive Academy, you can find us for more jewelry business advice at flourishthriveacademy.com. Thanks so much, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.